Do you know the value of getting into battles early and getting some of your units upgraded? If not, then stay tuned to find out more. My fellow Franks, welcome back to the channel. Are you bored through? We are bored through, and here at Bored Through, we are all about the gameplay. And today we are going to focus on furthering our strategy within the board game Rome Total War. And in particular, what we're looking at here is the reason why you should actually try to get into battles early. And as you can see, we've got some of the cards for the barbarian faction here, because I think it's this effect is most pronounced when we're looking at them. So in particular, what I want to draw your attention to is you have to remember that with the lowland warriors, this is a particularly weak unit within the game. As you can see, white die for good going, and in the terrain, a really decent S effect though. That's something that is often overlooked. It's something you can take advantage of when you're battling your opponents. That S effect is actually quite powerful, and something to keep in mind. However, what we want to focus on at the moment is why it is that you should risk actually losing maybe one or two of these battle cards, because look what you get when you manage to upgrade them to a veteran. Take a look at the quality of the dice there. So as you can see, it goes from one white dice to a white die and a green die, and that is both for good going and in the terrain. S effects staying the same there, of course, and you're getting this upgrade, and you don't have to spend anything extra to get it. And what I want to do is just to show you just what the equivalent of that is. As you can see, look, it's got very similar effects, and perhaps not quite as good. That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. It's not quite as good as the naked Gestati, in the good going anyway. But as you can see in terrain, actually it performs. I'm going the wrong way here. In the terrain, it actually performs comparably. So essentially what that is that you've got a unit here that basically for free is just as good as the mid-tier units that you can purchase within the game, but you also have to have an upgrade for that. So you have to offset that against the additional cost of that upgrade, and something that you're not actually able to do necessarily until slightly later into the game. So getting that upgrade there means that for free you've got one that is as good as a mid-tier unit there. And then you can also compare that to this other unit over here, which is the elite unit for the barbarians. So if we just bring that forwards here, what you can see is just how that compares here. So these units here, it's not quite as good as that. I say not quite as good, it's definitely not as good as having the red die, but again, something reasonably comparable when it comes to the terrain. Still not quite as good as a yellow effect, but at the same time, look at the cost. To go from here to here, it costs you absolutely nothing, but to go from nothing to having to spend 4 coin to get these guys. You could get 2 lowland warrior units for the same cost as that. So why not bulk up an army with some of these lowland warrior units? If it's much bigger than an enemy force, if you can overwhelm them with numbers, then it means that you're much more likely to win. And even though you're probably going to lose in a lot of direct combats, if you can flank them, then it means that you'll win the battle, and that you'll have the opportunity to then upgrade these units. And just take a look at how good those upgrades actually are. That's something that you literally money can't buy. Just how good those upgrades are. What I want to do at the same time here is I want to bring in our Highland units, just to show you once again how the same kind of dynamic is playing out as we going from one to the other in terms of that upgrade. So we've got our warriors here. Let's just take these ones out here. And as you can see, once again, when it comes to these upgrades, in good going, it's comparable to the lowland units. But as you see, that when they upgrade, it's got an effect that is actually, it's kind of on par with the mid-tier unit there. So immediately you're going for free, having the effect of something that is very comparable to the mid-tier. But also, if you take a look at actually within the terrain, what you end up with is a unit that actually is better than the mid-tier unit in terrain, and it's even better than the elite unit within terrain. And then also just take a look at that S effect. So you've got that with the Highland units over here before they're upgraded, but it's also retained, and therefore in terrain the upgraded Highland veteran Highland warriors is actually better than the elite units, and you get it for absolute free. It is completely free. You don't have to spend anything, and again you can do the exact same strategy, whereby load up the armies with these low quality troops, go into battle, overwhelm them with numbers, get these upgrades, and suddenly you've got an army that is really elite. And there's plenty of terrain out there on the board, particularly in the areas where the barbarians are likely to be having battles, particularly in their home regions. If you're moving across towards the east side of the board, if you're moving down into the Iberian Peninsula, lots of opportunities for terrain. So you can see just how powerful it is actually to go for those upgrades, because particularly with the Highland warrior units, they are as good as the elite units for this faction. So I just wanted to lay that out for you. It's an illustrative example. What I would recommend that you do is go ahead and take a look through the cavalry units, take a look through some of the other factions, and maybe what we might do is cover some of the other factions as well to illustrate this point later on. But I just wanted to show you why it's so important to go out there, get into battles early. Don't wait until the mid game. Don't wait for a slow plodding move. Just go straight into it and actually get some of these guys upgraded, because you can get that for free and it doesn't cost you anything, which means that when you get into the mid and the late games and you need to count on having really solid armies through and through, we can't have any of these Highland warriors anymore. We can't have the lowland warriors that are too cheap and are just going to lose. They're going to go into battle and they're going to lose against the mid-tier units, and suddenly that's going to put you at risk of losing that battle outright. We can't afford to have that, but we don't have enough mid and high tier units to bulk them out, to ensure that we aren't just throwing our fodder in there and it's getting destroyed. So we need to bulk it out and make sure that that what would often be the weakest part of our army is actually going toe to toe with its greatest strength. So I hope that's been a really good illustrative example for you to see why it is you should get into battles early. Don't be so fearful of losing out, or I don't have enough troops, or anything like that, or you know, maybe I'm going to lose. You know, use some of the other strategies that I'm teaching you here to put yourself in a strong position where you reckon you are going to win that battle when you go into it. Because it's better to do that now, to win a couple of battles. Maybe you lose a couple of battles, but get those upgrades, because you see just how powerful it is. So if that's been helpful to you, please go ahead and give this video a like. Let me know if this in particular is useful to you. Give this a like if this is something that you want to see more of, some more illustrative examples of why we should get into battles early. If you want to make sure that these are going into your feed, then please subscribe to the channel. And that means that you'll get to see more of these videos. And if you think this is really helpful, maybe this is a point that you've been trying to make to your friends and they don't agree with you, we'll go ahead and show them this is the analysis. You can see exactly what that looks like right here. So you can share this video with them and see if that proves them wrong. But at the same time, maybe you want to keep this to yourself and take advantage of this whilst your friends are just moving around the board, campaigning in all the independent regions, whereas you're going straight for them. You're doing a beeline directly for them, getting into confrontation early. That means you've got the edge. You're going into this with a purpose. You're going into this knowing this is what you want to do, so you can surprise them, because they've not bulked their army out enough, because they didn't expect this coming. They don't intend to go in, to lose some units, to get some units upgraded, and because they're going to miss out even in just a single battle, and particularly if you manage to destroy that army. And some of the other armies here are very, very small when they first come out onto the field, so if you go into there, destroy those armies, you can get 2 upgrades. Imagine having 2 of these veteran warrior units in one army after a single battle. That would make them absolutely fierce. Have a couple of those, get a mid-tier and a bulkier one, get a couple of your skirmishers, hold onto your chariots, or maybe upgrading and get some of those cavalry units on the go, and suddenly you've got a really, really fierce force. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I say bye for now, and in the meantime, are you bored through? We're bored through, and here at Bored Through, we're all about the gameplay.